Trick or treat, welcome to Strength Reversed. It's Amy. Thanks so much for being here and happy Halloween. I have a fun Halloween VR for you. This is hashtag Trick or Treat Tarot, and this was started by Mags Black. Of course, I will link her video, and I first saw it on Jason's channel. That's Tarot by the Pines, and I will link his VR because his are always fun. And I will admit that we do repeat some decks because he and I share some taste in decks, but not all of them are repeats. So these are 8 prompts that are trick-or-treat themed, and you pick a deck for each prompt. So anyway, here we go. Number 1 is the Veil is Lifting deck, and this is the deck that gets you into the tarot mood, that kind of lifts the veil and you are instantly ready to read. It's what you think a tarot deck should feel like. And for me, I picked the Tarot of the Wyrd. This is a strange little deck that is Gothic Victoriana. I feel like it speaks to a past life. It is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but it instantly sort of transports me to an earlier time when maybe I sat in a dark parlor with a crystal ball and told people's fortunes. That's what I feel like when I look at this deck. There's lots of teacups and lots of cutlery and people in Victorian clothes, which I adore. So Tarot of the Wyrd. I don't think it's dark. I think it's a gorgeous deck. And I can just look at these pictures forever. So that is my tarot that lifts the veil. Number 2 is the Guising Glow Up. And this is the tarot of I just wrote down transformation, and now looking at it, I'm not sure what that means, but I've just decided to go with the deck that I would most like to dress up as. And this is the Mystical Moments Tarot. I would wear all of these clothes. That's a fun Halloween costume. There are just beautiful images here. And I mean, look at this. Who wouldn't want to wear that around the house? I would. Here's a light up costume. Come on. So I would vote Mystical Moments as the best dressed tarot. It's just very whimsical. I wouldn't call it whimsical. It's almost fantasy and somehow feels familiar. I mean, here's one of my favorites. It transports me somewhere, not to another time or place, but it really sparks my imagination, and I could stare at these images all day long and never get sick of it. Okay, number 3 is the Stepping Out into the Dark Tarot, and this was a pretty easy choice. This is the Murder of Crows Tarot, a limited edition. This is probably the darkest deck that I own. This is the card, the High Priestess, that made me first notice this deck. Gorgeous. I've been using this deck a lot this season. So throughout the month of October, preparing for Halloween. And I will admit, I don't generally reach for this deck at night because it is a little bit heebie-jeebie, but I don't think it's necessarily dark. It doesn't give dark readings. I don't necessarily reach for it as a shadow deck. It's just a deep down, the depths of my soul kind of deck. So it actually gives pretty gentle readings. It's a very understanding and forgiving deck, but also a little creeptastic. I'm kind of sweating here because of the fake ass fire. it's that season, and the fake ass fire usually goes until we start talking about Easter, but it just really sets the mood. It's a good lighting scheme. Anyway, number 4 is the Haunted House deck. I chose the Titanic Tarot. Now, it's not a haunted house, but it's the same kind of vibe. There's the back. It is very eerie. Part of the reason why it's so eerie is because most of the pips are underwater. It's haunting, and these are real people and a real situation. You know the Titanic has to be haunted. It just has to be. And so when I look through this deck, I always find something new, but it really evokes a lot of emotion, because I think of what that, you know, how terrifying that must have been, and how hopeless and helpless people must have felt. And then you just see things floating down progressively deeper, coins and cups and whatnot, until they finally lay at the bottom of the Atlantic. If you've never seen this deck, it's worth looking at. It's pretty unique, because the pips, if you lay them out all together, create this big tableau, and you can see the shadow of the outline of the broken ship on the bottom of the ocean. And so as you start at the surface with an ace, it's at the shore, and then as it moves toward tens, it is progressively deeper until you see any people in the card become mer people. So, and then it all has this indigo kind of color, which is gorgeous. Okay, number 5 is the Ghoulish deck, and I chose the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot. Here's the back. And this is the deck that I have that has lots of ghouls and ghosts and murderers and creepy people. There are a couple of monsters, but mostly the monsters in this deck are the people. All sorts of frightening scenes. And here's the master himself. Who doesn't love a good Edgar Allan Poe scary story? Number 6 is the Knock Knock deck, and this is the deck that's just knocking on your door and you're just now getting to know it. And that is the Antique Anatomy Tarot. Here's the back. Now, this is a pip deck. I'm not a pippy gal. I do love these elixirs, but I love how these are beautiful cards, even though they have a bunch of skeletons and bones in them. So it's a little bit creepy, but for some reason not. For some reason pretty to look at. And it makes me want to get to know how to work with a pip deck, because I usually need lots of imagery to kind of let my mind go, give my mind something to focus on. I do wish the guidebook was more comprehensive as far as why each card looks like the way it does, but I am looking forward to working with this deck more and more, and I think I'm joining the study group that's on Facebook for that deck. Number 7 is the Tell-A-Joke deck, and this is a lighthearted, just fun deck. This, I chose the Santa Muerte Tarot. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be showing you the back. The Santa Muerte Tarot. And a lot of people might not think this is fun and lighthearted, but I think this deck reminds me of sugar skulls and celebrations and, you know, embracing that part of our experience. And it does have some humorous cards. This guy makes me chuckle. So I think it's not irreverent, but it is pretty life-affirming, this deck. It respects death, but it also, I think, wants us to look at it as just a really sacred part of life, just like birth is. No one's freaked out and grossed out by birth. Maybe grossed out, but you know. I think it's a fun deck. I don't think it's dark at all. There are all kinds of just fun, fun little images here. And then the final deck is the candy deck. This is the deck that I just thought, I'm gonna come home after an arduous night of knocking on doors and begging for candy. My son will go take a bath, and then his dad and I secretly like split up his candy, and we just enjoy eating chocolate for the rest of the night. Free chocolate, right? And I chose the Golden Girls Tarot. It's not a creepy deck, but I do think any of these would be great costumes. And to me, this deck is just pure candy. It's just fun, and it makes me laugh, and yeah, anyway, it's fun. It's just pure enjoyment. I mean, how can you not love the Golden Girls? Anyway, okay, so happy Halloween. I hope you have a lot of candy coming into your life, and you have a spooky night, and you dress up as something fabulous. This is it. This is what I'm dressing up as. It's my Halloween costume. I don't know what else to tell you. I usually go in something that coordinates with my son's costume. Like, he's a Ghostbuster and we wear a Ghostbusters t-shirt. Or one year he was a pickle and my shirt said, "I'm with the pickle." Anyway, okay, so last year he wore a hazmat and I had a big coronavirus on my t-shirt, which maybe was in poor taste, but it was apropos. Okay, you guys, check out these videos. Happy Halloween, happy spooky season, and I will see you in November.